This is in the Laws of Women that I talked about earlier. It's one of the good books that to read. Um, and on modest behavior and the risk involved, they explain certain things. It describes what the sages say. Who is a wealthy man? Rabbi Akiva answered, a man whose wife performs worthy deeds. This is the manner in which such a woman behaves. She tries to be perfect in every way, to perform her task promptly and efficiently, to keep clean and a neat appearance, and to dress extremely modestly. And it says they discuss the traits of what that is to be modest. I know some people say, oh, I'm spiritual. This is okay. I can wear provocative clothing because, I'm a trophy for my husband. He wants everyone to see that he has a beautiful wife. Thus, I should wear beautiful clothes and look very sensual because my husband likes it. Well, that's fine, but that's not what our sages say to do. So we don't have to do that. And it says, precious women, the shame and disgrace which befall a woman who commits sexual transgressions is beyond description. She becomes repulsive in the people's eyes and loathsome to God. And it says, the consequences of such an act continue for many years. And it also says, our daily experience verifies that the evil inclination tactics have not changed after thousands of years. The way women dress and behave plays a major role in determining how promiscuous the generation will be. Thus, each woman must strictly heed to the laws and customs of modesty. In this manner, she will contribute significantly towards closing the door in the face of the evil inclination. Closing the door in the face of the evil inclination because she's not being provocative to try to catch the attention of men. And I heard some excuses that you're supposed to dress like hot and sensual because the husband likes it. But that's for your husband, not for other men, especially other, just men that are married to be looking upon your beautiful appearance. Well, maybe you want to attract other men and you want to be a distraction. But that's not what our sages teach. And that's not the halakha. So it also says that noble and valiant women, it says, I have a complaint to lodge against the daughters of the wealthy in our city, Baghdad. And it says, in general, these young women serve as a shining example of modesty. And it says they feel embarrassment in the presence of strangers and cover their faces with a veil while in their presence, regardless of how old the men are. Yet, when the door-to-door salesman arrives and displays his wares, the veils are suddenly thrown aside and all vestiges of modesty disappear in a moment. The most shy and modest women are transformed into aggressive and vigorous traders, bargaining for prices and demanding to see every article of clothing in the salesman's sample bag. After his third visit, the man gains the confidence of the women and they begin to treat him as one of their own. He is allowed to enter the woman's room as he pleases and contemplate her appearance, suggesting more becoming combinations of accessory as he sees fit. This is truly surprising, for on the one hand, the strictest rules of modesty are observed even when in the presence of the elderly. Yet, on the other, the most liberal attitude is adopted when the company of the merchants are around. So it just, it's called, I guess that's a form of conformity. When modernity comes in, people think that they have to conform, they have to become like everyone else. They have to wear a wig because it looks like regular hair. They don't want to feel embarrassed for their friends. So they'll rip the tickle off or they'll rip the scarf off and show their hair because their friends are over. But then again, that's not really being separate from the mundane and the common, because we're supposed to be separate, meaning no, we're not supposed to discriminate, but it's a type of a segregation. It's a separation from regular common things, everyday habitual things that the other nations are allowed to do because they're free, they're not under these same rules, and they're not from the same nation that has this unique relationship with Hashem and all of the rules that apply and take care of or that are made and created to take care of the woman so that she also raises her family modestly and raises her kids up that way, and they continue generation to generation being modest. That's what the whole idea is to continue to be separate and unique, and that's what kadosh, that's what that means. It means a better description of that word would be special, which would mean unique, which means picked out away from the regular. It's a uniqueness. That means it is not the same as everyone else. Even though we might feel pressure, we can also feel confident that we don't have to tear down our walls to please other nations. We can be who we are, be Hashem's people, and take pride and cherish that humbly instead of breaking down our wall to try to fit in to please man. So, who would you want to please? Do you want to please Hashem or do you want to please man? And we're talking about the people, the Hashem that follows the Chazal, the sages. We're not talking about the people that have liberalized or they have want to reform orthodoxy. We're talking about standing up and doing what our sages teach us to do and what our rabbis teach us to do. People have to learn, and some people don't ever want to. They want to stay the same and dress sensually and even in front of rabbis, they want to look really beautiful. I guess, I don't know, the husband's like, I don't know. But we want to also remember to keep in mind that our sages are not there to be an idol to be worshipped. We're not worshiping them. We are following their wisdom because they were close to Hashem. Because one of the 613 is to cleave to a Torah scholar, not because we want to worship them as an idol, but we want to cleave to them because they have that knowledge, because they've also cleaved to God. So they have made a relationship with the Abishter, and they're living a clean life, and they want to teach us how to develop that same relationship.